So I've been interested in gaming PCs for quite a while now, probably quite a few years, probably like almost 5. But I've never actually gotten around to properly building one. You may have seen my previous one that I built out of an old salvage find, but let's be honest, that thing isn't very practical. So, friend showed me a place where I could find a few good deals. I found one, and then, well, had to get the rest of the computer for it. So I'm gonna get started building probably my first and hopefully last gaming computer. So let's get started with the case. I believe this is an NZXT H500. It has a lovely tempered glass side panel, which I will be doing fun things with, but obviously, a computer is more than just a case, so we need to get the rest of the parts out of this thing. Hold up. What's even the point of this video? It's not about another budget-ish Ryzen 5 build that's already 2 years outdated that you've seen a million times, but it's about what you can get with the right information from the right sources. My source for pretty much every deal on this build was from a subreddit called r/buildapc sales, and I was actively viewing it for about 6 weeks. And an important thing about this is that, well, as soon as you subscribe to this subreddit, you're going to want to buy things that you're going to convince yourself you need, but you really don't. I could have easily bought a 1TB NVMe SSD for like $100, but I know I didn't need that in my build because I set myself a specific list and purpose for this build that I was aiming for, and then found good deals on components that would match that spec that I'm looking for. It's best to get what you need now rather than compromising just to save $10 or spending too much and not even being able to use what you bought. So how much did this whole thing cost anyway? Well, you can see the PC part picker list that I made up for it, and it came out to $632 before tax and before visual extras such as LEDs and the one-way mirror film that we will see later on in the video. That added another $20. And giving you sources for these parts would pretty much be pointless because many of these deals were pre-Black Friday sales, which I might add are generally better values than what you actually see on Black Friday. I didn't buy anything during the week of Black Friday because the prices just weren't as good as what they were previously. So how much did I actually save by doing this, waiting these like 6 weeks and buying the parts pretty far apart from each other? Overall, compared to the prices that I'm looking at right now on my computer, I see that I saved $130, even though I bought these components 4 months ago. Now, for you, is that worth waiting 6 weeks for, or do you want to have a PC right now? If so, well, you're going to need to pay a little bit extra for that immediacy. But because I am in no need, really, of a new computer, even though my laptop I'm using is like, 5 years old at this point, I can afford to wait the 6 weeks to buy the parts for this computer. Alright, let's test it out. Well, I'm just going to go in there with a screwdriver and connect the pins that I need. Boop, boop. Perfect. Well, we certainly have a BIOS.
Says dual channel memory mode. They're working at 2133 in slot A2, B2. That's where I put them. And we have the Ryzen 5600, B54. Everything seems to be here.
Huh. We need to adjust the microphone. We need to take a measurement. This piece of one-way mirror material fit within here. It's mainly these pieces, this plastic piece here, that is the issue. This material we have, it's made for just like outdoor windows. Whoop. Looks kind of neat. See, it looks like a mirror when you have things shining on top of it, and it fits either way. You know, this earlier one was from a little test cut. Also, we ideally want one that doesn't have damage on it. So instead of going the standard route of doing RGB everything on this computer, I decided to go with just pure white LEDs. One of the reasons is I think that they work a little bit better than the RGB stuff as far as producing a nice white color. I think it goes along with the motif of this build of sort of a general clean build that is not too loud, visually speaking. And also the fact that I already had a bunch of white LED strips from photography lighting projects in the past. Now, the way I attached these and thought about how to lay this out, one of the things I really wanted to do, which is something that I think everyone should look for whenever they're putting LEDs in their computers or just whenever they're doing LED effect lighting in general, is to avoid being able to see the light source directly. Essentially, the way you would do this in this computer would be to have the LED strip on the top of the case really close to the window, and then you have sort of the bezel of the side panel shield your eyes from the LEDs directly. So then the LEDs light up the case instead of the LEDs just shining in your face. The main places I put it underneath the sort of accent piece on the inside near the motherboard. I put it on the top, and I put some larger LED bars that I had lying around sort of in the front of the case behind where the fans go to sort of put a back glow to where the fans are coming out from like the front of the computer. And I also put one strip on the underside of the graphics card so that it would sort of light up the board area a little bit better, because with only LEDs on the top of the case and in the front, there wasn't really much lighting up the board itself. So I added that in to sort of give it a little bit more light. And one of the things I did was wire up the LED zones to slightly different areas. Essentially, red was one zone of LEDs, blue was another zone, and green was another. So I can adjust which zones are lit up depending on what kind of thing I want. I think I have one zone free. I can use that for whatever I want later. But to tell you the truth, I never have the LEDs on in this thing anyway, because I really like the way the mirrored side panel looks. Now, overall, this was recorded after the fact, obviously, as you can tell, because it's a different microphone, and I am still using this computer a whole 2.5 years later after I built it and decided to finally finish this video. Yeah. That winter footage that you saw, that was filmed in 2018 probably, and the build was started in before Thanksgiving, because I mentioned Black Friday. So yeah, that was that. So overall, I think that this build has been pretty good so far. I'm probably going to upgrade the graphics card at some point, and I've already bought another 8 gigs of RAM from a friend who upgraded to something a little bit faster. than what I had, but luckily he had the same stuff I did, so, you know, now I have 32 gigs, which is even more than I need. So, thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.